wanted us once," the old man boomed, his voice filled with rage. "But the grove has one final test for you." Princess Nkoli was a paradox, a blooming desert rose with a most unwelcome thorn. Her ebony skin shimmered like polished obsidian. Her laughter tinkled like wind chimes in a balmy breeze, and her intelligence rivaled the cunning of the resident palace tortoises. Yet, beneath her regal poise lurked a secret that threatened to unravel her happily ever after dreams. A symphony of stomach grunts that culminated in ear-splitting trumpet blasts that could clear a room faster than a horde of locusts. Nkoli grew up in the opulent embrace of the Omi Kingdom, a land where the sun dipped into the tapestry of orange and purple hues every evening, painting the sky with a majesty that rivaled the royal court. Her father, King Ojukwu, a man whose booming voice could silence a raging thunderstorm, dreamt of uniting his kingdom with another through a strategic marriage. Nkoli, his only daughter, was the golden key that would unlock this alliance. But as Nkoli blossomed into a young woman, suitors came and went with the swiftness of the harmattan wind. Princes, dripping in jewels and boasting of mystical feats, would stammer and choke mid-sentence during their audiences, their faces contorted in a silent plea for escape. Nkoli, oblivious at first, attributed their discomfort to her sharp wit and fiery spirit. However, a knowing glint in her handmaiden's eyes and the stifled sneakers echoing through the palace hallways soon shattered her innocence. One sweltering afternoon, King Ojukwu summoned Nkoli to the throne room, a chamber adorned with the spoils of past victories, gleaming spears, leopard skin rugs, and the mounted heads of exotic beasts. The hair hung heavy with his disappointment. "Nkoli," he boomed, his voice laced with frustration, "explain this parade of rejected suitors. Are you not charming them with your wit and beauty?" Nkoli, her heart sinking like a stone in the royal pond, stammered, "But father, I treat them with respect and..." "Respect?" King Ojukwu scoffed. "Marriages are forged for alliances, not pleasantries. We need a strong union, and your reluctance is jeopardizing the kingdom's future." Shame burned on Nkoli's cheeks. Her father, a pillar of strength, now seemed burdened by her peculiarity. Tears welled up in her eyes, blurring the image of the stern king before her. "There must be another way," she whispered, her voice barely audible. The king sighed, a sound like the rustling of dry leaves. "There is, but it is a path fraught with danger. Deep within the forbidden grove dwells the Ancient One, a mystical being rumored to possess the power to grant wishes. But be warned, child, the grove is guarded by spirit and unforeseen perils." A flicker of hope ignited in Nkoli's chest. Perhaps the Ancient One held the key to breaking her gaseous curse. The danger was immense, but the alternative, a life of solitude and the kingdom's vulnerability, was far worse. Steeling her resolve, Nkoli embarked on her perilous journey. The forbidden grove, shrouded in perpetual twilight, lay beyond the bustling marketplace, where the scents of sizzling peppers and ripe mangoes mingled in the air. As she ventured deeper, the cacophony of the city faded, replaced by an unsettling silence broken only by the rustle of unseen creatures. The air grew thick and humid, the towering trees forming a menacing canopy overhead. Vines as thick as a man's arm snacked across the path, their leaves whispering secrets in an unknown tongue. Airy shadows danced at the corner of her vision, and the ground seemed to pulsate with an unseen energy. Suddenly, A twig snapped behind her. Nkoli wheeled around, her heart hammering against her lips. A pair of glowing eyes emerged from the undergrowth, followed by a creature unlike anything she had ever seen. It was a hulking mass of fur and claws. It growled a raw rumble that vibrated through the very earth. Fear threatened to cripple her, but Nkoli remembered her purpose. Taking a deep breath, she raised her voice, her words echoing through the silent grove. "I come seeking the Ancient One. I mean no harm." The creature tilted its head, its eyes narrowing. A tense silence stretched between them, broken only by the chirping of unseen crickets. Then, with a deafening roar, the beast lunged. Nkoli squeezed her eyes shut, bracing for impact, but the blow never came. Instead, she heard a high-pitched shriek that sent shivers down her spine. Peeking through her fingers, she saw a sight that defied logic. A tiny winged creature, no bigger than her thumb, hovered mid-air, its iridescent wings streaming like scattered jewels. It was a fairy, but unlike the delicate, ethereal creatures of legend, this one was a feisty little warrior, clad in shimmery beetle armor and wielding a miniature spear that crackled with an electric current. The beast, momentarily stunned, roared again, its fury redoubling, but the fairy darted forward, dodging its snapping jaws with surprising agility. Her spear zipped through the air, leaving a trail of sparks that singed the creature's fall. With a startled yelp, the beast retreated back into the undergrowth, its growls fading into the distance. The fairy landed gracefully on Nkoli's outstretched finger, her tiny chest heaving. "Well met, brave princess," the fairy chirped, her voice surprisingly deep for her size. "I am Ebele, guardian of the Forbidden Grove. It seems you've encountered a grumpy gloomstalker." Nkoli blinked, speechless. A talking fairy? This day was getting stranger by the minute. But Ebele's bravery had saved her life, and gratitude washed over her initial shock. "Thank you, Ebele," she stammered. "You are a fierce protector." The fairy puffed out her tiny chest with pride. "Protecting the grove is my duty. Now, what brings a princess to this dangerous place?" Nkoli poured out her heart, her tale laced with shame and desperation. Ebele listened intently, her brow furrowed in thought. "The Ancient One is a fickle being," the fairy warned when Nkoli finished. "He grants wishes, but the price is always steep. Are you prepared to pay it?" Nkoli, her resolve renewed, nodded resolutely. "I have no other choice. My kingdom's future depends on it." Ebele studied her for a moment, a flicker of admiration in her bright eyes. "Very well," she declared. "Follow me. I shall guide you to the Ancient One's lair. But beware, the path ahead is fraught with trials." With Ebele leading the way, Nkoli ventured deeper into the grove. The path became treacherous, choked with thorny vines that seemed to wreath and whisper secrets in her ear. Ebele, flitting ahead, used her spear to clear a path, the sparks momentarily illuminating the grotesque shapes carved into the ancient trees, grinning faces, clawed hands, and eyes that seemed to follow their every move. As they neared the heart of the grove, the air grew thick with a haunting, beautiful melody. It was a song unlike any Nkoli had ever heard, a siren call that tugged at her very soul, weaving promises of a life free of burdens filled with unimaginable pleasures. Nkoli swayed, mesmerized, the melody weaving a tapestry of temptation, visions of a life of luxury, free from the constraints of royalty, and the shame of her affliction filled her mind. Don't listen, Ebele screeched, her voice a shrill counterpoint to the alluring song. It's the sirens of the swamp. Their voices lure the unwary to their deaths. With a Herculean effort, Nkoli tore her gaze away from the unseen singers. Shame burned in her cheeks. She had almost succumbed to the lure of escape, forgetting the reason for her perilous journey. Ebele landing on her shoulder, shipped encouragingly. They feed on weakness, princess. Focus on your goal, and their song will lose its power. Nkoli gritted her teeth, picturing her worried father and the future of her kingdom. The melody began to fade, replaced by a dull drumming in her ears. They had passed the trial of the sirens. After what felt like an eternity, they reached a clearing dominated by a gaping moor in the side of a towering baobab tree. The entrance, shrouded in perpetual twilight, pulsed with an unseen energy. This was the Cave of Whispers, the lair of the Ancient One. Ebele's bright eyes gleamed with concern. This is as far as I can go, princess. The Ancient One does not tolerate fairies. Nkoli felt a pang of fear but steeled her resolve. Thank you, Ebele. You have been a brave companion. The fairy dipped her head in a silent salute before taking flight, disappearing into the dense foliage. Nkoli, taking a deep breath, stepped into the cavern. The air inside was thick and stagnant, heavy with the scent of damp earth and something older, something primal. The only light came from bioluminescent fungi that dotted the cavern walls, casting an eerie glow on the uneven path ahead. The path wound deeper into the cavern. The bioluminescent glow fading onto Nkoli was enveloped in near total darkness. The silence was broken only by the echoing drip of an unseen water and the pounding of her heart. Fear, cold and clammy, snaked its way around her like a serpent. Suddenly, a voice boomed from the depths of the cave, a voice that seemed to vibrate through the very rock itself. Who dares disturb my slumber? Nkoli jumped, startled. Taking a deep breath, she called out, "It is I, Nkoli, Princess of Omi. I seek your wisdom and power, Ancient One." The voice rumbled again, closer this time. "Wisdom and power come at a steep price, child. Are you prepared to pay it?" "I am," Nkoli declared, her voice trembling slightly. "I need your help to break a curse that plagues me." There was a long silence. No long that Nkoli began to wonder if she had been foolish. Then a pair of glowing red eyes materialized in the darkness, followed by a hulking silhouette. The Ancient One emerged from the shadows, a monstrous creature resembling a humanoid toad with glistening black skin and razor-sharp claws. "A curse, you say?" the Ancient One rasped, its voice a cacophony of croaks and growls. "Curses are tricky things. Tell me, princess, what ails you?" Nkoli, her cheeks burning with shame, stammered out her peculiar affliction. The cavern echoed with a deep rumbling sound and sent shivers down her spine. Was it amusement derision? After what felt like an eternity, the Ancient One spoke again. "A curious curse indeed, but not an impossible one to break. However, the price is high. Are you willing to give up your most treasured possession?" Nkoli's mind raced. What did the Ancient One consider her most treasured possession? Her crown, her royal jewels? None of those seemed significant enough to warrant a cure for her embarrassing problem. Then it hit her. Her most treasured possession wasn't a physical object, but a quality, her voice. It was her voice that commanded respect in the court, her voice that suited her people in times of hardship. Without it, she would be nothing but a mute princess, a shadow on the throne. Tears welled up in her eyes, but Nkoli held her head high. Yes, she whispered, her voice thick with emotion, I am willing to pay the price. The ancient one let out another rumbling sound, this time laced with a hint of approval. So be it, princess. Step forward and let the ritual commence. Nkoli walked towards the monstrous creature, her legs like lead. The closer she got, the more crusted it appeared, its warty skin pulsating with an unnatural light. Fear threatened to consume her, but the image of her worried father and the future of her kingdom spurred her on. Reaching the ancient one, Nkoli closed her eyes and braced herself. The creature's cold, rough hand clapped over her mouth, stifling any scream that might rise in her throat. An unnatural energy crackled around them, and Nkoli felt a searing pain erupt in her throat, a feeling akin to 1,000 tiny needles pricking her vocal cords. Then, as abruptly as it began, the pain subsided. The ancient one removed its hand, and Nkoli stumbled back, gasping for breath. Her voice, once strong and clear, felt raw and scratchy. Tentatively, she whispered, "Thank you." The creature boomed a single word, "Free." Before retreating back into the shadows, Nkoli stood alone in the cavern, the silence deafening now that her voice was gone. Tears streamed down her face, a mixture of relief and despair. She was free of her cause, but at what cost? Leaving the cavern, Nkoli emerged into the familiar twilight of the forbidden grove. The bioluminescent fungi cast an eerie glow on her tear-stained face. A bele, alerted by some unseen signal, landed on her shoulder. "You have succeeded, princess," the fairy chipped, her voice laced with concern. "But why do you weep?" Nkoli, her throat raw and painful, could only manage a choked sob. Ebele, sensing her predicament, understood. "The ancient one always takes the most precious thing," the fairy consoled. "But perhaps there is another way." Ebele explained an ancient legend, a hidden spring within the grove, said to possess mystical healing properties. The water, according to the legend, could restore lost voices. However, finding the spring was no easy feat. It was guided by the spirits of the grove, mischievous entities who delighted in misleading travelers. Hope flickered in Nkoli's chest. Perhaps this was a chance to reclaim her voice, a chance to fulfill her purpose and not return to the palace a voiceless princess. With renewed determination, she followed Ebele deeper into the grove. The path became treacherous, the air thick with the shapes and whispers of unseen creatures. Airy shadows danced at the corners of Nkoli's vision, and the ground seemed to shift beneath her feet. Ebele, flitting ahead, warned her of illusory paths and hidden pitfalls. Suddenly, they emerged into a clearing bathed in an ethereal glow. A magnificent waterfall cascaded down a moss-covered cliff, its water shimmering with an otherworldly light. This, Ebele declared, was the Whispering Waterfall, the legendary source of healing. But guiding the pool at its base was a sight that sent chills down Nkoli's spine. 3 wispy figures, barely discernible in the twilight, hovered in the air. Their forms shifted and changed, morphing from playful children to gnarled old men in a blink. These were the grove spirits, their playful demeanor marking a mischievous streak. "Welcome, travelers," one of the spirits, a young girl with a mischievous grin, chipped in a voice that tinkled like wind chimes. "Do you seek the healing waters of our waterfall?" Nkoli, her throat raw, could only nod. The spirit giggled. "Excellent, but first you must answer a riddle," the spirit continued, its form morphing into a wizened old man with eyes that twinkled with amusement. "We speak without a mouth and hear without ears. We have no body, but we bring both joy and tears. What are we?" Nkoli pondered the riddle. The spirit represented sounds, whispers of the wind, the rustle of leaves, and the songs of birds. But how could she convey her answer without a voice? Ebele, sensing Nkoli's predicament, shipped excitingly. "I believe I know the answer," she declared, landing on Nkoli's outstretched finger. The spirit, momentarily surprised, turned their attention to the tiny fairy. "Do enlighten us, little one," the old man croaked. Ebele puffed out her chest. "You are sounds," she proclaimed. "You have no voice, no body, yet you fill the world with melody and sorrow. You carry laughter on the wind and whispers of secret through the trees." The spirit remained silent for a moment, their forms flickering in contemplation. Then the young girl materialized again, her grin wider than ever. "Clever fairy," she declared, her voice laced with a hint of grudging respect. "You have answered correctly. Go forth, travelers, and claim the healing waters." Relief washed over Nkoli. With a grateful nod to Ebele, she approached the pool at the base of the waterfall. The water shimmered, sending a cascade of rainbow hues dancing in the air. Cupping her hands, Nkoli scooped up a handful of cool liquid and brought it to her lips. The taste was unlike anything she had ever experienced. It was sweet and refreshing, with a hint of something ancient and powerful. As she swallowed, a warmth spread through her throat, chasing away the lingering pain from the ancient one's ritual. Taking a deep breath, Nkoli attempted to speak. At first, only a raspy croak emerged. Then, to her immense joy, her voice returned, stronger and clearer than ever before. A wave of relief and gratitude washed over her. But their ordeal wasn't over. As Nkoli rejoiced, the ground began to tremble. The spirits, their pitiful demeanor vanishing, transformed into a menacing figures, their laughter morphing into a guttural growl. "You've outsmarted us once," the old man boomed, his voice filled with rage. "But the grove has one final test for you." The clearing around them began to shift and distort. The ground beneath Nkoli's feet turned to swirling mist, threatening to engulf her. Ebele, clinging to her hair, screeched in alarm. Panic threatened to consume Nkoli, but then she remembered her purpose. She couldn't return to the palace a coward. Taking a deep breath, she focused on the image of her father, his face etched with worry. Nkoli knew she had to appease the grove spirit. Closing her eyes, she began to sing. It wasn't a song with words, for those were stolen from her. Instead, it was a melody born from the depths of her being, a song of resilience and determination. It was the song of a voiceless princess who refused to be broken. The song resonated through the clearing, weaving through the shifting mist. It echoed the sound of the grove itself, the rustling leaves, the chirping cricket, and the gurgling stream. The spirit, taken aback, their menacing forms waved. Ebele, sensing the shift, chirped encouragingly. "Keep singing, princess. Remind them of the beauty they protect." Nkoli poured her heart into the song, her voice rising and falling in a haunting melody. It spoke of the interconnectedness of all things, the delicate balance between nature and humanity. As she sang, a strange peace settled over the clearing. The mist receded, revealing solid ground beneath her feet. The spirits, their previous rage replaced by a grudging respect, materialized before her. The young girl spoke first, her voice soft. "Your song, it resonated with the heart of the grove," she admitted. "You understand our purpose, princess." Nkoli, her voice shaky but clear, replied, "I do. We all have a part to play, a song to sing in this grand symphony of life." The old man grunted, a sound that could almost be construed as agreement. "Very well, princess. You have passed our test. Go forth and may your voice be used for good." With a final flicker, the spirit vanished. Relief flooded Nkoli. She had not only broken the curse but also gained the respect of the grove spirit, proving her courage and inner strength. Nkoli emerged from the forbidden grove, blinking in the sunlight, Ebele perched on her shoulder, tripped triumphantly. Together they retraced their steps, the journey back to the palace seeming lighter, filled with a newfound sense of purpose. News of Nkoli's return spread like wildfire through the court. King Ojukwu, his face edged with worry, rushed to meet her. Tears welled up in his eyes as he saw his daughter, whole and healthy. Nkoli, her voice clear and strong, recounted her ordeal in the forbidden grove. She spoke of the ancient one, the mischievous spirits, and the healing waters of the whispering waterfall. Most importantly, she spoke of the power of resilience, of the strength found within oneself. King Ojukwu, humbled by his daughter's bravery, finally saw her for who she truly was. Not just a princess, but a woman of remarkable strength and character. He realized that her cause had been a blessing in disguise, revealing a depth and resilience he hadn't known existed. News of Nkoli's courage and the mystical happenings in the Forbidden Grove spread far and wide. Instead of suitors seeking alliances, delegations arrived, seeking her wisdom and guidance. Nkoli, no longer the voiceless princess, became a beacon of hope, a symbol of strength and resilience. Though she never forgot the trials she faced, Nkoli embraced her unique voice, using it to forge new alliances, not based on marriages of convenience, but as mutual respect and shared goals. The Omi kingdom prospered under her reign, a testament to the princess who learned that true strength comes not from the absence of flaws, but from the courage to overcome them.